Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our third and final adventure of the evening, one which I am entitling Coming to Conclusions. But before we get into it, we are, as always, going to just take a brief moment and introduce our heroes. So, we have I believe this is a full party of brand new characters here in the land of DnDTime. We have, joining us first up here, Richard P. Stranglebones.
Yeah, how you doing?
Hello, Richard. It is, for starters, welcome. Welcome to the lands of DnDTime.
Thank you.
You join us in a little bit of a tumultuous time, unfortunately. It seems that all of Bartholomew's adventurers have been trapped within this terrifying, illusory manor, and are fighting for their lives and disappearing left and right. But before we kind of get into your thoughts on that, just why don't you just tell me a little bit about yourself? You're brand new here.
Yeah, I'm a skeleton. You know, blue collar working skeleton.
I'm with you. Working class of the undead. I follow.
Yep, I like to strangle people.
Well, I mean, that doesn't seem like necessarily a blue collar. Is that what the blue collar is for skeletons? Strangling, or is that like a hobby?
No, see, that's more like look, when I was alive, I was a bit of a serial killer. I'm not gonna lie.
All right.
My support group says to be open about it.
I see how it is.
And now that I'm undead, people just view me as a monster. So, you know, I fit the role.
Sometimes
I also
you gotta act up.
Manual labor for work. Typically.
Were you, do you work for like a particular necromancer, or do you just have like a day job?
Oh no, I just I work around Central City.
I get you.
Yeah, you doing things that scale. Yeah, I'll do the haunted houses every year. They're in the carnaval.
Yeah, I follow.
But other than that, I'll whatever a skeleton can do to find work in Central City, I'll do it.
Well, Stranglebones. There was a as you were probably aware, there was a take one basket outside of Bartholomew's shop before you got all invited and trapped at this dinner party. Did you take one?
Yeah, I got this spooky hood.
The hood. Remind me the name of the spooky hood again.
The hood of
Enshrouding Darkness. The hood
that
of
one.
Enshrouding Darkness.
Yep,
yes.
there it is.
So you got this spooky hood that kind of pulls up over your head and obscures your face and causes like trails of black smoke to wisp behind you.
Yeah, that is correct.
Excellent. Richard, I can't wait to learn more about you, and welcome to the lands of DnDTime.
Thank you. It's yeah.
Tarren of Silverblood. Your last name or your namesake there is very familiar to me, Tarren. But welcome to the lands of DnDTime. You're a new adventure here as well.
Salutations, and thank you, sir. It is quite an honor to finally be out in the field.
Well, it's always a joy to have new adventurers. Tarren, would you like to tell me a little bit about yourself and why you found yourself here amongst the adventurers of Bartholomew's shop? What brings you?
To keep things brief, you don't need my entire life story. I live in the service of House Silverblood, thus my title. Well, sort of title.
So you're not directly related to the Silverbloods. You're just, an emissary, a helper, a vassal.
Exactly, a vassal. I have no relation to them at all, in truth.
Huh.
Their family was kind enough to take in a group of my people, give us shelter, teach us in the wise ways of Selune.
Well, the Silverbloods are known for their kind of generosity, their kindness in a lot of ways. And you are just to be clear, you are a spider Therian, kind of a were-spider.
That is correct.
There are a number of other were-spiders that are in the Silverbloods' employ.
Of a sort, yes. Not all were-spiders. There are different orders, you could say.
I understand. And that is, Tarren, what is sort of your skill set? What do you bring to the table as an adventurer?
Well, to be blunt, I kill those of my own kind that do not abide by the laws of Selune, and specifically the most important sanction, not to spread our curse unwanted.
Yes, you pursue those who are, the more dangerous of lycanthropes, the more feral werewolves, things of that nature. I understand. Well,
Precisely.
It is good to know that the creatures of the night have something to fear. And Tarren, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Of course. Joining us next, a third brand new hero and also first-time adventurer here in DnDTime. I'd like to welcome you, Delta. Hello.
Sup?
Not too much. What's up with you, Delta? Would you care to tell us a little bit about yourself? Things like, what your abilities are, what brings you to the land of DnDTime, just anything you want to say about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm a sassy Dragonborn. I am from the Acolyte family. I am basically a wizard, so I like to do spells on other people. And yeah, I am pretty much a wizard that can do anything that you tell me to do.
Fair enough. You said I liked your phrasing there. You like to do spells on other people. That is an aggressive way of saying that you do magic.
I do, yeah. I like kind of being the sassy person and just trying to do spells on other people. I sometimes when I get aggravated, I'm just like, poof, you're gone. See you later.
You send a firebolt their way.
Yep.
Or what have you. So is your expertise kind of you're a big fan of the offensive magic, it sounds like.
Of course, yep.
And anything else about yourself that you'd like to share? I mean, you said you're kind of sassy. What makes you want to be an adventurer? What are you kind of looking for here in the lands of DnDTime?
I just want to hang out with people, but to be honest, I like talking back to people. So if someone comes up to me, yeah, they're gonna be gone in seconds.
Fair enough. Well, Delta, I welcome you here to the lands of DnDTime, and I look forward to seeing what you can do out there. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Last, and of course not least, we have a brand new hero, the fourth and final, Granny Serialmassacre. Hello to Granny Serialmassacre as well.
Hello there.
Granny, I'm going to cut right to the chase. You have a very interesting last name.
Yes, I know. It's very interesting. People ask me about it all the time, but I assure you, we do not massacre people.
Okay,
At least
I
not
was a
that
little
know
bit
of.
worried. Wait, except for who?
Well, at least not that I know of. I mean, I can't speak for the other serial massacres. I mean, but from what I know, that we're all good people, not like those dirty, filthy. What are their names again? Oh,
Well, before you even finish that sentence, let's cut it off there, Granny Serialmassacre. Granny Serialmassacre, what's your skill set? What do you kind of bring to the table?
I'm a necromancer.
I understand. You bring things back to the dead, control zombies, things of the like. Now, your name is very familiar to, very, very similar to that of the Slaughter murders.
Yes.
Any relation there? Or are you an aspiring chef romancer or an practiced one?
No. The
Slaughter murders?
The slaughter murders are not,
Yes.
and the serial massacres, believe it or not, have had a long-standing feud between our two families, I guess. Not sure what started it, but I think it was over. I think I have no idea. It could have been. I think it was over a chili cook-off or something like that. At least that's what my grandpappy told me.
I hope this long-standing feud. Maybe I know the Slaughter murders request. They request adventurers from time to time. Maybe you can maybe you can do some work, find out that they're not all that bad at the end of the day, or maybe make the feud worse. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens.
All right.
And Granny, I welcome you once more. Oh, and as a last question, I forgot to ask you, Delta and Tarren, this, but we'll circle back around. Did you get a chance to take one for the take one from Bartholomew Shop?
As of Delta here, yes, I did.
What'd you grab?
I am grabbing the Fallen Cloak.
Excellent. You grabbed yourself a cloak of leaves so that you might duck and hide when need to. Granny, Tarren?
Personally, I found this rather ornate, polished mirror. I think it will be quite useful.
Certainly, as one who hunts creatures of the night, the vampire's identity seems like it might be invaluable. And Granny?
Oh, I've taken that mirror that doesn't flag. I mean...
you grabbed one of the mirrors as well.
Yes. I mean, it probably just needs a good polish.
Well, yeah, you've been looking at it. You don't seem to be able to see your own reflection, but we'll see how it goes. You can see Richard in it, though, which is very strange.
What's up with that? Why can't anyone else see their reflection?
Oh, well, maybe I can just give it to that nice, what was their name again?
Well, whilst you recollect, let me bring us into our adventure tonight. The four of you stand around in the lobby of the manor in which you've all been trapped now for a good amount of time. Ever since the dinner party ended and the terrifying Lich Lemic has escaped, a Lich who's known for causing mischief about the Carnival of Souls time period, to put it lightly. People have been disappearing from around the manor. Adventuring parties have been kind of going out in search of Lemic today, and you've seen a couple of groups leave, but neither of them have come back. And the kind of number of adventurers here in the house still is absolutely dwindling. There are few left. And Bartholomew kind of looks over to the group of the four of you as people have been kind of coming together and just waiting things out. Bartholomew, of course, being the resident quest giver and the head of your adventuring guild of sorts here, and looks over to you. All right, hello, all of you. I know that this was supposed to be a very easy. I know when I pitched this whole first adventure for all of you, it was come to this dinner party and maybe steal a few things from around the manor, which was, low stakes. But people aren't coming back, and I need you to track down the Lich Lemic.
Step aside. As Delta steps aside and pushes everybody out of the way. Big fat dragon. I am Delta. I am here to lead the crew. I am here to help you to do anything that you want me to do.
Oh, well, that is actually wonderful, because I want you to chase after, like I was saying, the Lich Lemic. I was worried that where all of you are good at experience, you might be afraid of tracking down a creature so terrifying as the Lich, but it seems like, you don't have a problem with it. Excellent.
Quick question, Mr. Wizard.
Yes, your name again?
Richard P. Stranglebones.
Yeah. And he kind of stops and he looks at you. Coincidence?
Oh, what do you mean?
Philip Q. You know him?
Oh, the lawyer?
Coincidence, I guess.
No relation. I hear he does great things for some undead, but not for others. Anyway, what is a Lich?
Yes. A Lich is a, sort of...
I think I recall, a Lich is a really old wizard who became undead somehow.
Yes, if a wizard lives long enough and they go crazy enough and they decide to throw their soul into like an object, they can become a lich where they'll live eternally, but gain a touch of insanity, and usually the power that they gain corrupts them as well. They are, terrifying beings. Lemic is usually easily handled, but he's outdone himself, it looks like, this year.
I see. All right. Okay. Can I become a lich?
You work hard enough, probably. It's all, I mean, it does require a bit of natural intelligence, which...
Oh, I don't have a lot of that.
Well, then maybe not. It isn't all people, it's hard. But...
Are you a lich?
I mean, oh no, of course not.
How old are you?
Well, let's not worry
Who
about
cares
that
how
now.
old he is?
Yeah.
He's
never asked
he's an old
person
man.
their age.
Thank you. You never ask an old person their age. That's what I always say. So,
Excuse me, sir.
yes, I believe Lance mentioned you. You're Tarren. Yes, he recommended you.
Oh, he did. Ah, that warms my heart. I was actually going to ask about him because I was hoping to meet him here, but I haven't seen him since we arrived, and with everything going on, I'm sure he's quite busy, but is he well?
And Bartholomew kind of looks around a little bit, and I haven't seen him recently either. I think he is among the missing, as it were.
Among the missing, what does that mean?
Well, a number of the adventuring parties that have been going out have been disappearing. I'm sure that you'll all be fine.
Now, when you say a number of the adventuring parties, could you give me a percentage of them that have gone missing?
Well, there's some... I couldn't ballpark it. They're not all the information's in yet.
But of the ones that you know have gone missing.
Well, there were 6 of them, and the same number of them have gone missing.
So what you're saying is there are 100%. We're looking at 100% disappearance rate.
Well, depending on how you figure the math. I mean, that is one way. There are also a lot of, trigonometric mathematics and math.
Well, on the bright side, we haven't been disappeared yet, so
exactly.
there's that.
Never mind. Of the 6, there's 1 that hasn't disappeared yet.
But
You
we
mean
haven't gone out
4?
yet. That's true. Well, we're the 4 members of the singular party. All right. Okay. All right. I'll you know, screw it. What, you know.
And I have a very good idea this time. There are some subtle signs that Lemic had been these particular ways. But then Bartholomew, you've been kind of walking with him throughout this time, but he leads you over to just a chunk in the wall, and you see there's a piece of wall that has just been disintegrated through, creating like a hole leading into the chamber beyond. And Bartholomew goes, but this is some pretty clear evidence that he was here recently. And you can see still like flakes of dust are still sort of like kind of falling down from the area and implying that, you know, someone just disintegrated a hole and went through this wall. And he says, the only person here that could probably disintegrate something is Lemic, so that's gotta be him.
What about you? Could you have done it?
I could, but I didn't do that.
All right. I trust him.
All right. See if you can find this individual. I think he went this way. It appears to be, and he kind of like leans in. It appears to be some type of library or museum or museumbrary. I don't know. And he hands each of you a rock, and he goes, "If you're continuing through and you find him, call me immediately on this rock. He's very dangerous. You'll need my help in taking him down."
Yeah. What is he? What's he look like?
A skeleton with a red robe and a staff. And it's red and black, the robe. It's kind of the defining feature.
Okay. All right.
What if we find something equally dangerous, but that is not a skeleton in a red robe with the
Then
staff?
run from that.
You
Do we know how
value on
big?
the stone?
Wait. I mean, yeah, you can tell me about it. Wouldn't hurt. I might be busy.
Do we know how big the skeleton in the red robe is? Is it
It's
tall? Is it
about
short?
my size, like a regular person at one time.
It's gonna be hard to strangle him.
Yes, that will be. I believe he is at this point immune to strangling.
Yeah.
That's what you need me for.
To strangle him?
Well, I have magic hands. I can probably strangle, but I would probably do something more efficient than that. But, well, he's off now, so you should get moving.
Magic strangle hands. That's a good idea. I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna put that one up here.
And Bartholomew sort of steps away and begins kind of going over and comforting some of the less brave adventurers here that are very scared in this spooky house. And yeah, you walk up the stairs. Some of the walk up the stairs, which I haven't been narrating because you've been talking the whole time, but like the building has become very MC Escher-like, with like stairways leading up the ceiling. Like part of your journey was definitely walking like sideways, oriented to where you started, but you found that the gravity didn't change. You never felt it was only visually disorienting, not physically, as the inside of this place has become maze-like and strange with all of the incredible illusions that are affecting it. The disintegrated hole beckons, and you all step forward and into the museum/library.
Yeah.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
All right. As you walk into the chamber, you can see around you what looks like tall stacks of bookshelves. In the distance, you can see various, like paintings and statues and pieces of art, some urns and things with various placards and such beneath them. You can see that there is a door that leads into here, but there's still this just disintegrated hole in the wall next to it, which is, decidedly a little bit odd, but, you continue onwards and in, and there is right at the front as you come in a table. It is, a simple wooden table, and on it there is a placard that says, Frombladuke Museum and Library, Information and Map. Beyond that, there are kind of corridors leading further into this strange museum and library that it seems to be.
One question: what is that map? What is that supposed to represent?
The map here. So you want to go up and kind of look at it on the table?
Yes.
All right. As you start to walk towards it, you see the table. It starts to like jiggle and bend a little bit, and the table starts to run away at a pretty brisk pace. It kind of rears backwards, and the wood seems to like bend and break, almost like bucking like a horse, and then it starts to like flee and run from you.
Classic animated table.
As the map seems to be running away. Do you guys do anything as this happens? As the feet just kind of start kind of clomping along the floor of the library, and yeah, it flees. What do you guys all do?
Well, I can fly, so I'm gonna go chase after the map.
Wait, can you fly?
Yes, I can fly.
How do you do that?
I got wings. I'm a dragon.
Dragonborn don't actually inherently have the ability to fly. That is like a. Oh wait,
Dragonborn don't fly.
Oh yeah. So it's not like if you have wings, they would be more like vestigial than actually like grant the power to fly. Because I think only Aarakocra have flight.
Never mind. Back to square one.
Sorry to.
It's okay. I forget things all the time.
But yeah, it's a you gotta stay within the bounds of what the race can do. But you can certainly run, and it's moving on the ground. If you want to like chase after it, you're welcome.
I'll totally run after it.
All right. You just start like booking it.
Yes.
All right, sure. What are the rest of you doing as this starts to happen? You see the table like rear back and start running, and you immediately see Delta just start sprinting down the corridors after it. It's moving at a pretty good clip at its current pace. It does seem, to a certain degree, to be kind of gaining distance. What are the rest of you doing?
I think now would be a good time to employ a trick I learned out in the frontier. I will produce some of my own spider silk and begin tying it into a lasso while I pursue at a regular pace.
Yeah, you watch as magical spider silk begins to weave and coil from the back of from the back of Tarren as you begin walking at a pace. Richard, Granny?
Well, I ain't too fast, but I'll start after it.
All right, you, with your slightly shambly form, you begin to move after, not quite so quick, but still, in pursuit. Granny?
Granny is going to shuffle along as quickly as she can.
All right, same thing. You all, are moving down the corridor. Tarren, you kind of taking up the rear as you put together this lasso. I assume you kind of start making pace once you're done with the lasso?
Correct.
All right. The table, which is still kind of plopping down, Delta, you're out ahead a little bit. It's bucking down the corridor. It comes to like a split, and it kind of like turns around to the side and to the left, and begins kind of moving away. You follow it as it moves through. And around all of you on all sides, maze-like, are these bookshelves that tower up as you're moving through this kind of portion that seems to be more library than museum right here. And as it kind of continues, it's still like I said, picking up distance. Is there any a thing that any of you would like to try and do to like slow it down, or right now are you just kind of following it, seeing it where it goes?
Granny's gonna throw a book at it.
You just grabbing a book off of the shelf?
Yep.
Okay, you kind of take the book down, and as you do so, you can see the book, right as you're about to throw it, you catch it, it starts to like move and like flap a little bit in your hand, and it shouts out to you. It kind of, the book moves, and like there's two eyes almost on the top of it, like googly, that round up, that appear as you pull it out, and it shouts, Good, toss me at it, slow it down! Ha ha ha, boldly forth!
Granny throws the book.
All right, you throw the book. It has two tiny little legs. Go ahead and make a strength check as you throw it. 11. All right, it's not a particularly impressive throw as you toss it forward. The book kind of comes up maybe 10 feet short of where the table is currently. You get a little bit of distance on it, and as the book hits the ground, you see two little legs are sprouting out of it, and it's like continuing to run along, not nearly as fast as any of you or the table, but trying to like chase after it. And you see it produce almost like a tiny sword that it's like pointing forward, and it goes, Onward, catch that table! And it continues to run. The rest of you all see this very strange thing happen. What are the rest of you doing as you're chasing after this table?
I'm gonna take out more books.
You just grab a book off the side?
Yeah.
All right. You kind of grab onto another one off the shelf, and as you do so, it kind of looks at you, and again, eyes kind of pop out of it, and it as you're holding it, it looks at you and goes, Excuse me, sir, if you would unhand me at once, this instance, let me down. I shall not be manhandled in this way, it says.
Yeah, all right, drop him.
Good day to you. And you kind of continue running, and it like climbs up and puts itself backwards, back into the bookshelf. The table is continuing to gain distance. It's getting farther and farther away from you. As it goes around the next corner, and you kind of turn to meet it, you're now just like barely seeing it as it's hitting the next corner. You're gonna have to do something quick, or it will, at least for the moment, lose you.
I'll try to shoot it with my light crossbow.
Yeah, go ahead and make
to see if I can slow it down.
Yeah, absolutely. Injure it.
What is the attack roll?
So in order to make the attack roll, you're going to want to click. Have you loaded the light crossbow onto your character sheet on Roll20?
I did, yeah.
Excellent. You just click that light crossbow. Or not under weapon proficiency, it would be under attacks. Did you make an attack for it yet?
I did not.
Okay, that's not a problem. What you can do is, what is your dexterity modifier?
It is 0 right now.
Okay, so what you're going to do is just type the following in chat, and it'll be, oh, well, I'll do it so that it doesn't do it automatically. D20 plus 2. So you're going to type /roll D20 plus 2. So make sure you put a slash in front of it. The D20 being the attack roll, and then the plus 2 being your proficiency bonus, because you are proficient in it. So you roll a 9 to hit. Unfortunately, the crossbow bolt flies forward, and you're just trying to like strike it in the leg and maybe make it move a little bit slower, but it flies and sticks into one of the bookshelves. And you hear from where it sticks into the shelf, a book at that point just kind of call out, "Oh!" And it kind of like falls out and goes into like a pose like it has died. but the table is still kind of gaining distance. You pick that book back up, Granny. He kind of like he's like lagging behind, and you're slowing down, so you can just bend down and pick him up.
Actually, Granny is going to. How far away is the table right now?
The table, it's at this point, it's probably about 30 feet as you're continuing to like kind of sprint through the bookshelves here.
Granny will cast sleep on the animated table.
All right. Go ahead and roll me that health. See how you do.
All right.
28. As you cast the sleep spell out, the animated table unfortunately does not sleep, and it seems to be immune to the condition. However, one thing that does happen is in the surrounding area, as the sleep kind of spreads out, you see just 28 books all just like fall off of the shelf and are now just like laying there kind of like snoring in a big pile on the ground. As you do knock out a big pile of books. And at this point, the table, you can hear it running in the distance, but it's moved a little bit too quick out of sight. The map has temporarily evaded your grasp, and you stand now in the kind of labyrinth, the labyrinthine library. That's a mouthful right there. And things kind of go a little bit more quiet as you realize the table might be beyond you now. To your left, as you kind of reach that point, you see a book on the shelf kind of like pull itself out. It slowly just kind of slides and kind of hangs down and looks over at you. And it says to all of you, "Got away, did it?"
Yeah.
You know where it is?
"Yeah, it does that all the time. Don't worry, I'll show you where to go. Just follow me." And the book that you had pulled out before Granny is still kind of like walking alongside you, and it goes, "Ha-ha, good, we'll capture this table forthwith. It'll be an easy challenge." Do you follow this book?
Yep.
All right.
Well, the adventure book seems to coast it.
Very good.
We should take a look. After all, it is in a book.
The book kind of looks. All right, fair enough. The book looks back up at you and it goes, "Ah, wise, sage words, no doubt. This way." And it's kind of walking. The one with the little tiny sword is walking along constantly confidently next to it. And these two books are just stepping along down the corridor, and they start to kind of turn. And the book kind of like leans and looks around the corner, and it goes, "Just right up ahead, through there, into the museum."
All right. Well, thanks. Thanks, book.
"Not a problem." It says. "All right, shall we go forward?" The other book says.
After you, Mr. Book.
And the book kind of begins to step. "I failed to introduce myself, by the way." It kind of looks back over at all of you. "It's nice to meet you. I'm the Adventures of Doran Darkstone."
Yeah, the Richard P. Stranglebones. Nice to meet you.
A pleasure. Let us go forth, heroes." And it steps and begins moving into the chamber up ahead, which is pretty well lit. And the book behind you, as you step, kind of leans back and goes, "Have fun." And the chamber in which you're entering, it's wide and it's open, and there seems to be a lot of like statues in here. This is more looking like a museum, and they all seem to be of various large creatures. There are, skeletal dinosaurs, it looks like, in here. There are big there are big sort of like leaning stuffed animals. Some of them look like a stuffed prehistoric sloth. You can see like a stuffed mammoth here, and all sorts of different creatures from prehistoric periods. And yeah, you walk into the space. There's a very large pedestal that's in the center of the chamber. Like some of the lights in here seem to be focused on it, like it's the highlight of the museum, and it is completely empty.
Well, the first thing Delta is gonna do is grab onto Richard P. Stranglebones because she is scared to death, and she's about to kind of run away.
All right. I like the shift. I like the confidence shift as you kind of reach out and grab onto Richard P. Stranglebones. I
The
just wanted to say
skeleton.
Q, the skeleton. Which is, it's also funny that you're finding comfort in this moment from a living skeleton. But that's aside the point. You move forward into the chamber.
And admitted serial killer.
That's also
She
true.
doesn't trust the Serialmassacre, Granny.
I guess to be
No.
fair, there is
The tiny old lady.
there is
I-
a nice but probably terrifying spider, were-spider, and then a person named Serial
A
Massacre.
tiny old lady
So,
called Serialmassacre.
so yeah, the options are a little tough.
Little dicey, yeah. All right, okay, yeah. You can hide behind me, I guess. Now, we're looking for a Lich. So, hey, Lich, come out.
And you hear from the kind of the side of you as you're kind of moving in and taking in this chamber. You just hear a deep and heavy breathing.
I'm more frightened than when I was like 2 seconds ago. Can I get an adult?
And
I am an adult.
as you have that thought and your heads kind of instinctively and slowly turn over to your side, you can see kind of looming over the side of the entrance here what appears to be a skeletal Tyrannosaurus Rex that's kind of like shaking. You can hear its bones kind of like rattling as it kind of shakes itself and lets out another kind of deep growl. And it's looming over the entrance. It hasn't moved yet. What do you all do?
I don't think I need this mirror to realize that thing is animated.
You're actually not sure. I mean, it could be animated and not undead, but if that makes sense. Animated in not a life way, but in just a moving objects way.
Granny uses her mirror to see if the T-Rex skeleton is undead or animated.
Well, it appears in the mirror, but also the other like skeletons here that aren't moving appear in the mirror because they're just objects. So it actually doesn't tell you that weird piece of information.
Wouldn't they only appear if they're undead?
Well, it's not. Well, it's not living. You're certain of that, but you don't know.
It says only undead creatures appear in the mirror.
Yeah, but like the environment and the scenery still appears, so it could also be scenery, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Are there
But-
any torches in the room right now?
Yeah, the interior of the museum is decidedly well lit. There are like not torches. They don't seem to be torches in the traditional sense, where there's like fire wrapped around oil. But there appear to be like these arcane lights that are hanging in various sconces that are ever lit and give out a flameless light.
All right, all right.
You
I
can
have
grab
a
one from the wall if you
suggestion.
want. The skeletal T-Rex takes a heavy step towards you. Another.
My suggestion is we run. I start running.
Yeah, I need to go.
And so you kind of move from being pursuing to the pursued. So you guys are all just gonna take off.
I guess we don't
yeah.
have a choice.
All right, you run across the space. I would like you all to roll for initiative. You hear that we're gonna roll for this
What's
skeletal.
the?
We're rolling for the skeletal T-Rex. You just click on the word initiative on your character sheet.
Oh, got it.
Top
Okay,
it
got
up.
it. I
Yeah,
got it.
excellent. Great. In that case, The T-Rex kind of lets out this roar as you guys all take off, but you guys get around to kind of get ahead, as it wasn't like expecting all of a sudden movement. It was kind of slowly stalking in on you. You guys take off, and you hear it begin to pursue after heavy footfalls. Kind of stomp and slam and kind of are breaking tables as you run across and kind of back into the library bookshelves. Behind you, you hear the voice of the book that kind of guided you to this point, just kind of echoing with like evil laughter behind you as you're running from it. The book that was introduced itself as The Adventures of Doran Darkstone is running with you and kind of looking up at you all and just saying, "Come on, we can take it."
I'm gonna take that as a no.
I appreciate your optimism, but few battles are won without some strategic upper hand.
All right, and as you're saying that, you
Look, I can't strangle that thing.
I mean, I could do something, but it would take time.
And
But
time
I
does
don't
not
think
seem-
we have.
Yeah, I was gonna say time does not seem to be in your favor at this point, but you guys begin your kind of run away from this terrifying creature. You round the first corner, and up ahead, you actually see across the hall, just unrelated, the table you were running from before just darts across like the intersection where there is, a crossing intersection, and moves down a path that would be to your right, but is straight for it. That table, the information desk, is still just on a wild run. As we switch to the first initiative, it's you. It's you, Richard. What do you want to do? You're running away right now, and I'm assuming that you're, using your full, I'm assuming you're
Correct.
running always. You're always running. But I assume you're also going to do something. You want to take an action. You can, run and take an action, I'll say, in this instance.
Well, I'm in the unfortunate position where I am slower than the rest of my party. I assume. Human, Dragonborn, Spider, yeah. So in the scenario where you don't have to outrun the thing, you just have to outrun the slowest person. I happen to be it. So
I'm pretty slow myself. I'm just a tiny old lady.
I'm gonna try and. I can't fight it. Or from my perspective, this is I'm not gonna fight a T-Rex. So what I am going to try to do is this just hallway on either side, just walls?
Walls and bookshelves that occasionally will open up. You can see up ahead there's a little clearing where there seems to be some type of exhibit here.
All right, I'm gonna try and break off. I'm gonna try and get away. I'm gonna try and hide from this thing.
Okay. So when you get up into the next corridor, you're going to for now you're not there yet. You'll be there on the next round. So there's something you want to do right now, or for now are you just booking it?
I am super booking.
All right, you just are running as fast as you can. It's still kind of trampling behind you as we move to Granny. What do you want to do, Granny?
Granny is going to do the same as Stranglebones, given her slow speed.
Do you guys kind of have a brief moment where you're just hide, right? Do you guys communicate that to each other?
I think we get the my glowing red eyes from the black
We
pit.
probably do have an understanding.
Yeah, we look at each other and we're like, oh yeah, this is it. We gotta get the hell out of Dodge.
All right. In that case, you also just book it and get ready to get into position once you get up to the next area. In that case, that's going to bring us to who was next initiative? It's going to bring us to Tarren. Tarren, what do you want to do?
Important question.
Yes.
How tall is this hallway?
The ceilings are vaulted and high up here. It's about 60, 70 feet. And when it gets up to the ceiling, you're looking up above you now. You can see that the museum sort of bends in on itself and twists just in the area was outside. So there are actually bookcases that are hanging upside down and more exhibits that are looking down at you from the top.
Tarren is going to run diagonally so he can start running along the wall and get closer, higher up towards the ceiling.
You're going to try and do a very cool wall run is what you're saying.
Yes.
All right. Do you have an inherent? Oh wait, no. You just can do that. You're a spider.
Yep.
All right. Never mind. I don't even need to make a check. You just start running up along the wall. You watch as Tarren, just kind of who's towards the front of the pack here, their legs just start to angle upwards, and they're now running sideways to all of you while still kind of moving along the corridor here. Righteous. We get to the T-Rex, which is pursuing you as fast as it can. Tarren and Delta, both of you are keeping a fair distance, but it is definitely gaining on both of you, Granny and Richard. As we move now to your turn, Delta.
I am gonna go ahead and use my acid splash to try to slow down the T-Rex.
Yeah, go ahead and make does it make an attack roll if you want to throw the spell? Do you have the?
Yeah, it's a spell. It's a
do you
cantrip.
have it on your character sheet there?
I do.
Can you put it up? I just can't remember whether it's a dex save or an attack roll.
Hold on.
Crowley, do you know off the top of your head?
Pretty sure it's a dex save.
That's kind of where I was leaning as well.
Yeah, it's a dex save.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's a dex save.
So just on your spells list, if you just click the spell Acid Splash, it should pop up with the appropriate damage there. Excellent. So they have to make a dexterity saving throw, or it will take 3 points of damage, which it is going to do now. It succeeds. Didn't have any bonus either, just rolled really well. The Acid Splash flies in front of it. It kind of like, you try to get it around the feet to, begin slowing its movement a bit. And as you kind of toss it over your shoulder and like backwards, the skeletal T-Rex, it just kind of doesn't happen to, the way he's moving, it just doesn't happen to sync up right. And the Acid Splash fails, unfortunately. And I think that's all for you can get in on one turn, as we're going to be back around to the top of the initiative, which you move into an area here, which appears to be some kind of like chamber where there are all these like weird, they look like Da Vincian sort of like gyrocopters and various like almost like aeronautics devices that are all like hanging from the ceiling, and then on the ground there are all other manner of like cars and vehicles here, as you kind of move upward into the next chamber. And that is what you see as it's your turn at the top of this round of initiative, Richard.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and hide. I'm gonna amongst whatever I can.
All right, go ahead and make me a stealth check.
Oof.
12. All right. You just kind of run into the area and just kind of zip around the corner and dive into the first car that you can find. And you're now just kind of like in there, hunkered down, hoping that the T-Rex doesn't notice. Granny.
Granny's gonna hide as well.
15. All right. And that's gonna bring us to.
Hello.
Yep. What do you want to do, Tarren?
I want to fall back enough to be within 15 feet of the T-Rex.
All right. You let yourself kind of like hold a bit as the T-Rex is continuing to barrel forth. And then what do you want to do?
I'm gonna throw a net on it.
Oh, wow! What are the rules for nets on size?
Large or smaller.
Okay, this is a huge creature, unfortunately. But you do throw the net at it. It doesn't do any damage.
It either does no damage or 2 damage. I'm not really sure.
All right, well, it does 2 damage in this instance. And you throw the net at it, and you see, because of your crit, you see it kind of like get tangled up a little bit in its teeth. And as you throw the net, like it doesn't necessarily like, impose it or restrain it, but it kind of gets tangled up in the teeth, and you see it kind of like trying to like open its jaw, and it slows up for a moment, and it kind of stops, and now it's just like racking its head back and forth as it's kind of trying to like pull its jaw open. As it gets to its turn, it's going to spend its turn and try and snap this net, which actually, what's the athletics DC on a net?
It's a good question. I have it up just a moment.
I actually think that fails. I think it's like a DC
10.
Yeah, it actually, this mighty T-Rex cannot break this small net, and you see for a moment, it's there, it has such a big bonus. You see there, it's just like struggling to open its jaws, and it's just kind of banging its head. It thrashes to the side. It thrashes to the other side. It hits the bookcases. A couple of them kind of tumble. I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw. Actually, you upon. I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw. You upon the wall, Tarren. As the bookcase. The bookcase kind of falls over, and you're unable to like save yourself and tumble on to the next one. So you're back down at ground level, pretty close to this thing, but it's also still kind of occupied with this critical net. As we move next in initiative, as we move next initiative to Delta. Delta, what do you want to do? Two of your allies are hidden up ahead.
I'm gonna use a spell, and I'm gonna use Thunder Wave.
Ooh. All right. So you're gonna kind of. It's like a little bit of a closer range, so you're gonna like duck back and try to thunder wave the T-Rex.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to have the T-Rex make a Constitution saving throw. Is the number right?
Yeah, it's a Constitution saving throw.
And if you want to throw the spell up in the same way you did with the Acid Splash, so I can see this is the damage and so forth. Oh man, the T-Rex is rolling well. Rolls another 16. It's a DC 12 still, right? I assume. Yeah. It takes half damage on a success, so it still takes 7 points of thunder damage. So as you conjure your thunder wave, poof, there's an incredible explosion of sound in the area, and you see all like the books on the sides of the shelves that are in this area are all kind of, calling out like, whoa, whoa, and they all get like thrown back and knocked to the sides. The T-Rex, it's heavy and it holds firm into its location, not getting knocked back. But you can see the thunder damage. This creature actually seems to be weak against thunder damage. And what would have been 14 points of damage was reduced to 7 because it succeeded. It once again goes to 14 because it's vulnerable to thunder damage. And you watch as a few of the bones that comprise the creature kind of crack and break in places, and a few of them shatter, and it lets out a muffled roar from its closed mouth with the net wrapped around it. Anything else on your turn?
And I am gonna go hide.
All right, it's an action to hide, so you can't do it yet, but it's still kind of stunned at the location.
My bad.
But you can also like move over into the area, so you're like ready to hide on your next turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, you get up and you're kind of like crouched behind one of the cars right now, not like fully in it, but. And that's going to then bring us to the top of the initiative, which is you, Richard. What do you want to do, Richard?
Now, how far am I from the T-Rex?
You're in a car. I mean, you can get back to it. You're 30 feet.
Wait a minute. I'm going to try and drive the car into the T-Rex.
All right. I love it. Go ahead and make me... Do you have proficiency in land vehicles?
Probably not.
I
assume no for this situation.
A long shot. In that case, go ahead and make me an intelligence check to drive this car.
Oh boy! All right.
13. It's not incredibly hard. You're good enough to you figure out how to start it. It's not like a regular car that you find around Central City. It seems like a pretty outdated version, and there's like a weird kind of gear shifting mechanism that you're not fully familiar with. But the car kind of rooms to life, and you start to rev the engine. You get the feel for it, and the tires screech as you take off. You're just driving it straight forward into the T-Rex.
That is indeed what I'm doing.
All right, Heedless. The book, which had kind of climbed into the car, behind you when you jumped in, The Adventures of Doran Darkstone, looks over at you and just goes, yes! Yes! And the T-Rex is going to make a dexterity saving throw, which he fails. You crash the car right into the legs of the T-Rex, and it falls onto its stomach. As it does so, it's going to take a chunk of bludgeoning damage from getting it literally hit by a car. I would like you to first roll me 3d10 of car damage. 27 points of damage. It's also weak against vulnerable to bludgeoning, which is what this is. So as you crash the car into it, you watch as one of the legs kind of near shatters. It's like hanging on by a thread, and the tail gets completely just raked off by the car kind of like coming through it. Now I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw as the T-Rex is about to fall down on top of the car that you're driving on.
Not on my watch.
But your driving is too good. As you slam into it, you feel like an intense impact. You take a mere 4 points of bludgeoning damage from, crashing into a solid object as you kind of rattle around, and then continue driving through, and the T-Rex crashes to the ground and is now prone and is pretty beat up. Anything else on your... that's all you can do on your turn. That's a stick turn.
Yeah.
That's going to bring us next in initiative to Granny.
Okay.
T-Rex is down on the ground.
Alright. Granny's going to use... Undead. Granny's going to use her version of Magic Missile, which is Magic Eight.
Ooh. Well, that's just one, right?
No, it's, I'm trying to remember.
It was 3 at first level, but...
Yeah, 3 at first level, so yeah, 3.
I was just making sure that wasn't all of your roll. Yeah. A little rough first couple, but not the bad third one. As your magic missiles fly out, they connect automatically as the magic missile spell is wont to do, and they crash into the head of the T-Rex, which at this point is... Honestly, it's looking pretty close to, like, being beyond the point of being able to function. Even if it's still, like, trying to move, its body is having a hard time holding it up with all the damage it's suffered. Anything else on your turn?
No.
All right, it's going to move on. Oh, I was about to give it his turn, but it's Tarren's turn.
I am on the ground at its feet.
Yeah.
Let's get dangerous, shall we?
Ooh.
I'm going to at least try to scuttle up its leg.
It's on the ground. It's like prone, so you can just kind of get over to it very easily.
Okay, then let's see if I can at least hit its spine with my rapier. I don't have any weapons that are quite effective on undead, but something is better than nothing.
14 is going to just hit. Roll damage on that. Yeah, 5 points of piercing damage. Yeah, the rapier doesn't nearly seem quite as powerful as the thunder or the car crash as it. But you still manage to land a solid strike, and you're kind of like trying to wedge into an already existing crack. It widens a bit more. Not enough to finish the creature off, however. And on the creature's turn, I'm sorry. Anything else on your turn?
No, that will be all.
All right, on the creature's turn, it's going to kind of rise. I need you to make me a dex save as it kind of picks itself up. You're standing kind of on its side to not get thrown to the ground. And you land agilely down and step kind of at its side as it rises. It's going to inevitably break. Okay, just barely. Finally opens its mouth and snaps forth the net. It's wobbling at this point, but it is going to... it is going to kind of whip down, and now that it's done that, or actually it's an action to break out of the net, so it still can't. That's just its turn. It's stuck there, and its tail's gone, so it can't use that either. That's going to bring us, in that case, to Delta. The T-Rex is nearing being defeated. What do you want to do, Delta?
I want to make it laugh as hard as it can, so I'm going to use a hideous laughter on it.
Can you toss that spell up for me? On the...
Yep.
Okay. I'll give you this one so you don't waste your spell. A creature with an intelligence score of 4 or less isn't infected. Creatures like beasts and things like that tend to have intelligence of 4 or less, which I think that like you would know in character, so you don't waste the spell on it. Even though like you as a player didn't know that, like you wouldn't.
Okay, what am I next to then?
What are you next to? There's like a whole bunch of bookshelves around. You're in a whole like hallway of cars, or like a whole museum hall of cars behind you, and there's like planes up on the ceiling and stuff. And your allies are next to you. There's a whole bunch of books. There's bookshelves, and there's a T-Rex that is thrashing about angrily.
Am I able to drive the plane?
You'd have to get up to it, which would be a little bit of an expedition. Probably taking you around to try and like climb up and dive into one of the planes. They're kind of going on. They look like they're functional, but they're going on like mobiles on the ceiling. So you'd have to like I said, get up to it. Do you want to try and do that on this round?
Yeah.
All right. So you go over to the bookshelf, and it's shaped something like a ladder as you climb up to it. and you get a little high enough up to, make the jump. But essentially, you're gonna have to like jump from the top of the bookshelf and like catch onto the plane, and dive in. So I need you to make me acrobatics or athletics. The choice is yours. Whichever one you're better at.
Okay. I'm bad at both, but.
All right, 7. Yeah, you go and having some bad luck. All right, you go and jump and try and grab onto the plane, and as you do so, you try and reach on, and you can't quite hold the edge, and you end up falling the 10 feet off the bookshelf. Oh no! And you take 6 points of damage as you fall the 10 feet down. How much health do you have? I know you're a wizard.
I don't know. It doesn't say.
What's your Constitution modifier?
It's D6. It's
6 plus whatever your Constitution modifier is.
Constitution's 1.
Okay, so you're at 1 health. You had 7 health. You're in a hard situation. You fall down from this, and you're like, oh, as you land on the ground. The plane's kind of like wiggling, and as you like tap it for a moment, it breaks the kind of bind on it, and it also kind of comes down. So now the plane's on the ground, so it'll be easy next time. But for now, you're in a rough spot. As we move next in initiative to the top, which was Stranglebones. Stranglebones. After that heavy impact, the front of the car is kind of caved in, and there's like steam and smoke pouring from it. But the book to your side looks to you and goes, again.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, I start turning this car around.
All right. I need you to make me a. This would be dexterity or intelligence. You have disadvantage on the roll because the car is now damaged.
Okay. Then maybe I don't want to use the car. I'm just gonna get out of the car. I'm like, no, Book. We can look at him. We can get him. Let's go, Book.
All right.
I run up at the T-Rex toward its leg.
All right. You run up to the T-Rex's leg
and smack it with a quarterstaff.
It's gonna hit. Roll damage. 9. It's vulnerable to that. You just smack it with a quarterstaff. You wheel back and hit it as hard as you can. As you strike into the side of the bone, the cracks begin to spread further and further. It is very near. It is very near defeat.
Great. I kick it. Nope.
The unarmed strike, unfortunately, does not connect. But you hit it for a big old pile of bludgeoning damage there. As we move to the next initiative. I'm sorry, you're not gonna flurry or anything?
I don't have that yet. I'm level 1.
Oh, yes, of course.
Thank you very much.
My apologies. As we move next initiative to Granny.
Is there any other cars in this section?
Yeah, absolutely.
Granny's gonna get into the car and try and drive it into the
Granny's gonna ride.
Yeah.
All right, I would like you to make me an intelligence. Do you have proficiency in land vehicles?
I do not.
All right, then make me an intelligence check. Granny, it's just so out of date, and even though it's from before your time period, Granny, and you're trying to get the thing started, and you just can't figure out how to do it.
These dang new contraptions are always so hard for me to figure out.
Do you want to just sit in the car, or do you want to get out and try and? Do you want to get out and
He's
stand
gonna sit in the car to try and figure it out.
All right, yeah, you just can't quite get it to turn over. As we move to the next initiative, which is you, Tarren. What do you want to do?
Well, that's a good question. My options are limited here, and I think our luck is beginning to run thin. Best finish this off now while we can.
21. Roll damage on your rapier strike. 9 points of piercing damage. Would you care to describe your killing blow on this Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton?
Well, I know it has a previously injured leg. So perhaps now would be a good time to step forward, slip that rapier right into the crack, and see if I can wedge it just enough to bring it tumbling down.
You stick it and you kind of wedge it in, and as you do, you feel it kind of start to give. You hear like a cracking sound as the bone splinters and kind of falls away, and the leg shatters. The cracks cascade and move up through the form, until the T-Rex's bones just kind of tumble and collapse in a clatter upon the ground, and the book that's still beside Richard kind of calls out, "Well done! Well done!" And is that all for your turn?
Yes, that is all.
And we're still in initiative, because as it gets to the T-Rex's turn, you guys all hear a sound approaching from the distance, as kind of barreling down the corridor, the same one that you came from, so it looks like it's done a full circle at some point. The animated table is running up, and it's barreling straight towards you, Richard, as you were the furthest down because you'd gone past it in the car and then kind of like walked back up. So there's an animated table that's now running at you, heedless of anything around it. As you approach,
As it approaches.
or as you are approached by it, and it gets to you, it's just going to throw its body awkwardly at you. Oh, I rolled it to the GM. It's going to throw its body awkwardly at you. That's a 10.
That does miss.
All right. The table just kind of throws itself to the side. You almost swear you could hear like a noise as it like goes into you, and then as it misses and flies past you, it just keeps going and moves on, provoking an opportunity attack if you wish to make one.
Certainly I would.
24, roll damage on that. 11 points of bludgeoning damage. You smack the table as it continues moving past. It moves next past you, Delta. Would you like to make an opportunity attack against the table?
Yes, I would.
All right, you can use any melee weapon that you're carrying to attack it.
I'm gonna use a quarterstaff.
Swing away. 16 will also hit. Nice, roll damage.
Where's my damage?
I'm sorry, you click the word quarterstaff where it appears in chat, and it should make the damage pop up for you there.
Oh, got it. I got it.
Yeah, excellent, nice. Maximum damage too. Hey, the table's actually starting to get like a little bit beat up. You've almost taken out one of its legs. It continues past, provoking a third and final opportunity attack because you're in the car, Granny. And that's gonna be from you, Tarren. Go ahead and make that attack if you want to. It's up to you.
Yes. Sorry. I just noticed that we're having a little bit of a trouble for those watching at home, so to say.
Tarren, you're still kind of riding.
Seems to have fixed itself.
Good to hear that things are now working properly. But you go and swing your rapier at it, and you're still kind of like lost in the adoration of taking down this massive T-Rex, and like a bone splinter gets in your eye, and the rapier kind of flits completely off course. As the table is now kind of running away once more, but it's pretty close to you as Delta, it moves to your turn. What do you want to do, Delta?
Oh boy. I am gonna. Can I talk to it?
You can try.
I'm gonna go ahead and talk to it and say, "Stop! I need you."
All right, I need you to make me a persuasion check. 11. All right. As you kind of call out, "Stop! I need you!" The table just immediately just stops and kind of looks back, and it kind of like tilts a little bit to the side, almost like a creature kind of tilting his head, and it kind of just like comically almost like jogs over to you and just stops and rests right in front of you, Delta.
Yay!
You solved my puzzle. The table just kind of stops and it is in front of you, and you see it appears to be a map of the museum here, and the library that you're in. Things have now calmed down. Granny, you're in a car. It's just having a hard time getting it started. And the map, as you're looking at it, as soon as you start taking it in, it just kind of expands upwards like an illusion, and creates an illusion of like a 3D layout of the library, and it's distorted and strange in places. There are like impossible geometries, Mobius strip-like in the way that things seem to be put together here. Possibly, I mean, you presume because of the strange distortions that are taking place and making this library so odd, or this museum rather. And as you're looking at it, you can see on that graph, there's a picture. You can see there's the table is drawn, and then over it, right next to it, there are 4 dots, and each of those dots say, like, Delta is here, Granny is here, Richard is here, Tarren is here. And then over on the other side of the library, you can see there's another dot that says Lemic is here, and currently that dot, you see it like seems to extend a hand from it, and just like a bookshelf that it's nearby gets another hole disintegrated in it, and Lemic kind of steps forward through that and into what seems to be some kind of strange chamber beyond it, that's isolated from kind of the rest of the library. That's your situation.
Well, now we know where he is. I walk toward the plane.
You go over
Granny's gonna try and get this car started.
You're having a hard time. Another intelligence check. If you, I'm about to tell you what happens once you fail, which is
the same one as before.
Yeah. As you try and get the car started, you just hear it kind of, and it's about to start. And you kind of like go and like press on the gas to feed more into the engine, and as you do so, the engine just explodes and sputters. Thick black smoke begins kind of pouring out from it, and the car completely dies.
I say, hey everybody, let's go try to get those planes and fly to wherever he is right now.
Do you know how to fly a plane?
We're gonna learn today, Granny.
Granny's gonna try another car because she doesn't feel like falling out of the sky.
The plane that you're in is kind of it's kind of just like a one-person puddle jumper. But one thing that you do notice in the space is higher up, there is what looks like a very elaborate. You're not sure if it's even functional, but it's a very elaborate. It looks like a 5-man helicopter, which you're 4, but you could probably handle it. I mean, it's part of its like passenger space.
We have a book with us.
Would be more. That's true. You have a book with you, and the book looks up at it and goes, "Ha ha! A steed worthy of our heroism."
Can you fly that plane, Mr. Book?
The book calls out, "I'm sure it would be no problem for me. I'll do it immediately."
All right, let's. Why don't we get the plane? Let's get the helicopter thing, and let's head on over to Yemen, and or whatever his name is. And,
I think it was Lemic.
Lemon?
Lemon? Is it lemon?
Lemic.
Like lemon and lime?
Camille?
Camel.
There is a over as you're kind of discussing that, a book on a nearby shelf kind of speaks up. "Best of luck to all of you. That thing hasn't been started in years. It's gonna be tough to run if you don't know how to do it."
Do you know how to do it, Mr. Book?
And the book kind of like hobbles down. It takes out of its pages just a little cane and glasses kind of begin coming up. Walks closer. "I suppose I could give it a try, but I'm not super familiar with it, but I've seen it run before at least."
Do you know who you've seen run it before? At least, is it because another book ran it before?
No, not a book. It's strange. I don't remember. Nice to meet you, by the way. My name is Smoke and Mirrors, a spellcaster's guide to illusion.
Richard B. Stranglebones, serial killer.
Nice to meet all of you. It's strange. I only have memories. Well, I remember from being a book, but I don't remember when I was a book. Does that make sense? I didn't know I was a book when I was a book, but I remember it now that I am whatever this is.
I am so confused.
I know, it's a lot to handle. I'm confused too.
I'm often confused.
Well, regardless, I'll give it a shot if you would like. And the book kind of just looks up and doesn't really see how to get up there, and he goes, "Toss me up, will you?"
Sure, I'll attempt to toss him up.
All right, you toss him up. It probably takes a couple tries, and he's kind of like, "Whoa, ow, again!" And eventually you get him into the cockpit, and you kind of, "All right, now if I'm not mistaken, I'll just," and then you hear as the propeller begins to spin. "All right, I'm doing it," and it starts to like take off and fly around. But you see it's on like a track, and it's starting to just like move forward and spin at like an intense spot. It's on like a rope, like the one that you tried to get on before, Delta. That was like keeping it tethered to a specific space. What do you guys do? You're starting to go like, "Whoa, whoa!"
I throw a dagger at that rope.
Please make an attack roll. Roll 20's funky for me. All right, yeah, you toss a dagger and it cuts the rope, and the propeller for a brief moment kind of wobbles and then stabilizes, and then the helicopter kind of moves down, and the book kind of looks over at you. "All right, hop in. Where are we going? Just up? I've always wanted to see parts of the library beyond my shelf there."
We're going up and over, book. Up and over.
I point to the location that we're trying to get to on the map. I think we're headed over there. Where that new hole appeared. Does anybody remember why?
That's where Lemon is.
Ah, yes,
Lemon?
the lemons.
Yep.
"I've never had a lemon. I don't think I can eat." And the book kind of continues to float up the ground. The other book's like, "Yes, forward." And you guys take up and begin to just like hover through this library. And as you move, the space that you're in is seeming to have a hard time justifying you, if that makes sense. Like the way that the ceilings kind of bend and move don't seem to account for flight. And there are times where it just all of a sudden feels like your sense of gravity shifts. Even though the helicopter is moving constant, all of a sudden it feels like gravity is like pushing you to the side and then upwards as you're like skipping through all of this Escher-like maze that the inside of the labyrinth kind of seems to hold. And as you get closer and are kind of flying up, you move to the section where you kind of saw on the table where Lemek had made this hole in the bookcase. And as you get there, you can see that bookcase, but it's there's another, just like the hole that entered into the library here, there's another one that was exactly like that, a same disintegrated hole. And it leads into, you can see what looks like dim firelight and a silhouette kind of standing in front of it from where you are. But as soon as you see that, you watch as a bunch of bookshelves just kind of begin to move and rearrange. The entire interior of the space once again suddenly kind of shifts as the space seems to like reject you from entering into it.
All right.
And
my stone.
it's trying to like prevent you from getting there as the bookshelves kind of cover in front of it.
I take out my rock.
All right.
Hey, Bartholomew. We found this Lemek guy. He's behind some books.
All right. Try and get to him. I'll be right there. Can you just clear the books out of the way?
Yeah, we'll see.
I'll be there as soon as I can.
All right. Do that.
Hold him there if you can, and well, don't get yourselves killed.
All right. Are we landed?
No, you're still kind of hovering. The propellers are still floating in the air, and the bookshelves have now kind of like closed and like locked themselves, creating a barrier around this hole, preventing you from entering. And as they do that, you can see books. A lot of the books on those shelves are kind of all like hey, hurry, hey, what are you doing? And they all seem kind of like upset about suddenly being jostled and moved around. And then all of that kind of like complaint stops, and then the books all start to like shake and jiggle. And the books that you're kind of nearby, the two that have been kind of guiding you, you watch as the one that's kind of the one that's been kind of like shouting about adventure the whole time, kind of starting to like shake, and it looks up at you, and its eyes, which were previously kind of like a very clear color, it looks up at you and he goes, "You cannot access the master," and its eyes kind of turn red, and they stab at you with like a tiny sword that they're carrying. They reach out and kind of poke into you, slightly angrily, and they're going to go after. Who are they going to go after? They're going to go after you, Granny, and you just feel like a slight prick. It's not like anything in particularly threatening, but this book seems very angry and mad. And the books on the shelves on the ground begin to jostle and float up into the air.
I'm gonna hide again behind Richard P. Strangle.
Well, unfortunately, you're in a bucket seat in a helicopter, which is also currently being flown by a book, which is probably not a great situation to be in, but I would like you guys to one more time roll me initiative. And let me get the let me get this thing right here going as well.
Let's be honest here, this flight has been rather nauseating all in all.
I think I'm gonna throw up.
I can't throw up. I'm a skeleton.
I knew it should have driven.
I think the order is almost. Oh no, it's not quite. It's close to the same. You've moved up in the world, Tarren, but the books all begin to jostle, and you see some of them begin to just unnaturally float, and they begin kind of flying like rockets towards your helicopter. The book that's piloting the plane currently kind of looks over at all of you, or piloting the helicopter, and goes, "I think something's trying to take over my mind. Good thing I'm so sharp." And looks back at you and begins kind of moving the helicopter and trying to take some evasive maneuvers from these incoming books. But they're charging at you very quick now. The first to act in this moment of drama is you! Here, what do you want to do, Tarren?
Well, it's time to get my preferred variety of weapon out. I'll see if I can't shoot down one of the larger books flying at us before it hits us.
All right, yeah, there's like, you see like a big heavy kind of tome is coming at you. And the, you have the books kind of coming after, but you also have like the bookshelves that are blocking your way. Your crossbow bolt flies forward and strikes true. It sticks straight through. You don't need to roll damage. Any damage will take it one out. And as it does so, the book just kind of like falls to the ground and goes, "Thank you for releasing me," and crashes down to the floor below. The helicopter continues to spin. That's going to bring us next in initiative to... I'm sorry, do you have anything else on your turn?
No, I don't think I do.
Very well, Richard.
I'll pick up the book that's in here, the adventure book.
Haha! I'll defeat you!
I throw him at another book.
Go ahead and make a strength check. You kind of like toss him forward. 13's actually enough to hit a book, and he just kind of goes, "You'll never be able to overtake the adventures of Doran Darkstone!" As the book kind of flies out and hits the other book. Both of them tumble to the ground ineffectually. More books continue to swarm. The helicopter kind of is maneuvering inward as it gets to. Well, who's it goes at the same time with the book. So first it's Granny. What do you wish to do, Granny?
Granny's gonna throw a knitting needle at one of the books.
Toss away.
Throw whatever knitting needles.
7. Unfortunately, 7 misses the book AC. You toss a knitting needle forth and it flies into the mob, but doesn't seem to connect meaningfully with any of them. As we move to book turn, the helicopter swoops downwards and begins full speed to the bookcases. Right, what am I doing here? You're trying to get to that hole, right?
Yes, that's right.
All right, well, I'm going that way. And the helicopter leans forward and continues moving forward. As it does so, a book's going to attack each of you. That one, we're going left to right by stream. That was against you, Richard.
That'll hit me.
We got Richard.
Connect.
Next was, I believe, Tarren. Tarren 9.
That will not hit.
This one's up against you, Delta. That's a 10.
Oh, how do I know?
That's your armor class compared to your armor class.
Oh, I have a. Oh, hold on. Is that a 2?
You have +2?
No, I have a 10.
Oh no, it hits. You take 2 points of damage.
I'm dead.
You're not dead. You're just unconscious at the moment as you kind of fall over. The book kind of looks back at you and goes, "Stay with me!" But you get knocked out as a book hits you on the head. You're already in a bad way. And the last one's going to be up against you, Granny. That's a...
Granny misses.
All right. That would bring us to your turn, Delta, but you are currently dying. I need you to make me a death saving throw.
Dex saving throw?
Death
To the right of your hit dice.
Yep.
Successes and failures. If you click where it says death saves, it'll roll it for you.
Oh.
Very good. You have 1 success. You creep closer to life. You're unconscious right now, just kind of laying in the helicopter. But if you get 3 successes, you will live, and 3 failures, you will fall, unfortunately. And that's going to bring us around to the top of initiative, which is going to be the top of initiative.
Me.
Oh, I was wanting to say that it was Richard. What do you want to do?
You said that what could I do against these bookshelves? I don't have much in the way of magic compared to my compatriots.
You're
but...
up very close to them.
Let's see if I can at least try to pry a couple of them apart with my rapier. Clear us a small gap. Step through.
All right, yeah, there's like a swarm of books around you. You're at like the level of the bookshelves now, so you kind of hop out of this weird kind of helicopter, which was close to ground level, and you're going over and trying to like pry it apart. This would just be raw strength, or I'll give you athletics if you're proficient in it.
Oh joy, strength.
12. All right, you pry your rapier in, and you get it in between 2 of the bookshelves, and you start to like push and pull, and they're almost like fighting you in an essence, as they're gonna contest you. They have no native bonus. Oh, and you begin to like pull and drag and pull one aside, and you can see beyond. You can see beyond kind of the entryway and the fireplace, and what appears to be a red and black-robed skeleton kind of skulking around in this space.
I do not think it'd be wise to call out to him yet, so I shall try to hold this open as best I can for now.
All right, you're there just kind of holding the line, and you've created a gap for people to get through. Now it's Richard. Richard, what do you want to do?
I guess try and make it through the gap.
All right, you're just gonna jump out and run in?
Yep.
All right, run away.
I do.
All right, yeah, you just do it. Never mind. I was thinking in my mind, I was like, roll that you'd run forward thing, but there's no roll for that. I'm a fool. You do. You move into the chamber beyond, and
surrender now, Limerick.
As you call out "Surrender now, Limerick," you watch as all of a sudden all of like the defenses in the library, they just kind of come to a sudden stop. The plane is still kind of whirligigging about. The books are, the books are doing all right, and they kind of like no longer are in this weird kind of frenzy. You hear from far, far below where he fell, you hear that book kind of call out, Don't worry, I'm okay, from down below. And as you reach this space, the library just seems to kind of like give up defending it. And the helicopter lands, you kind of get out. You watch as Smoke and Mirrors, a spellcaster's guide to illusion, walks over and begins kind of talking to another book. And that book kind of guides her over into the helicopter. And you hear all of a sudden above you, you feel kind of just like a gentle warmth delta. And then you look up and there's a book leaning over you. And it says, Rangers, Apothecary, and Medicine is the title of the book. And there's someone kind of, a book leaning over you. Don't worry, dear, you're going to be just fine, just fine. We got you all patched up, see? And you come back to consciousness with 1 hit point.
Yay!
The book kind of looks over at you and kind of like pats you a little bit on the head. And, be careful now, you don't want to get hurt like that again. That sounded ominous, but I didn't mean it that way, it was genuine.
I appreciate it, book.
Of course, of course. That other book's like, all right, I brought you here, and things have settled down. I'm gonna go back to my shelf. That was enough adventure for one day. Goodbye now, and he hops in the helicopter, and he just, and he flies away. But there is there's an open bookshelf that you were able to kind of pry away at, and inside, it appears to be the target of what your request was. You can see a strange Lich kind of leaning and moving back very quickly, back and forth in this chamber. He's wearing the same red and black robes. You can see the skeletal head, but he's poring very intently over a number of documents that he seems to have open in here. And this doesn't look like this chamber. You think it was like a secret chamber that was like covered up by one of the bookshelves. You can see some mechanisms for like a secret door on the back of it. And in here, you can see there are all manner of images on the wall. And they are pictures. Some of them seem to be of Bartholomew. Some of them seem to be of Lemic. A lot of them are Lemic and Bartholomew. You can see Bartholomew. You can see Bartholomew kind of standing with his arm around Lemic, and below them, it's just kind of like there's something that looks like a shadow underneath them, and they're just kind of like standing with their arms around each other and smiling. Lemic, despite being skeletal at this point, seems to have just like a very massive head of hair, and Bartholomew is wearing his like psychedelic rainbow robes. It looks like this is them in college, and yeah, there are all these pictures, and on most of them, you can see that they have been graffitied. There's like Lemic with a mustache. There's like a dartboard that has Bartholomew and Lemic's faces on it, and like darts kind of stuck into it. And Lemic is poring over a particular book in front of this fireplace where he's kind of silhouetted against as you walk in. It appears to be like a yearbook of sorts. What do you guys do?
I don't think Lemon is responsible for the disappearances.
We've got you now, Shimmick.
Ah! Oh! Oh, hey! You caught up?
Hello, Lemon.
Hello.
Hi!
Hey.
What are you all doing following me?
Bartholomew thought you were responsible for the disappearing adventures, but I don't think that's the case. No, I mean, these pictures...
Wait, Bartholomew sent you after me?
Yes. He said he'll be here.
Well, I know you all come back after you die, but geez, this is just flagrant. How did you live?
Well,
Hey, you're a skeleton! Oh,
Yeah, my
how's
name's
it going?
Richard P. Stranglebones. Nice to meet
I'm
you.
Lemic. Nice to meet you.
Oh, Lemic. I couldn't remember your name, so I just used different words.
And striding
Wait, did
in
you
from
say
the back.
lemon?
he's Lemon.
Striding in from the back of the room, you can see the person who asked you to kind of track this person down. You see Bartholomew walking in, and he goes, "I finally got you, Lemic. You've gone too far this time."
Do you think we could do something about these bookshelves? I can't really hold them open all day.
I don't think it was Lemek, Bartholomew. These pictures seem to indicate that it's both of you.
You're saying that, but in a rage, Bartholomew kind of leans back and just throws a hand out, and those two bookshelves just go rocketing into the chamber beyond, pushed by an incredible force.
Whoa! Wow, Bartholomew, calm down. Like an idiot could tell that this is not my doing.
Oh, really? So we show up at a house in the middle of nowhere that you happen to be invited to, and it's not your... And he's kind of like fuming. What are the rest of you doing?
I am standing next to Lemek, nodding. In agreement with Lemek.
See, this guy, he gets it. He gets me. He knows. He understands.
Hey, we're both skeletons. I'm just.
You murder someone just a couple of times, and suddenly you're evil forever.
Yeah, just a couple hundred times.
Can we all not talk?
I'm sorry.
Let's get back to business, guys.
Sit down in a corner and start.
And Bartholomew's kind of like reeling a little bit from this. You do something every Halloween. Why?
I told you, Bartholomew. I turned over a new leaf. I'm a good guy now. Why would I be blowing holes in my own lair if I created this place?
Bartholomew looks back at the kind of like disintegrated hole in the space, and you see him like thinking for a time. You've told me you've turned over a new leaf.
Bartholomew, is this really me? Think about it. It's a stuffy old house.
You do have a thing for carnivals, don't you? There are all those...
I built a goddamn base on the moon, Bartholomew.
And Bartholomew...
You think I'm gonna stoop to this?
He does have a point. He had the good taste to build a base on the moon before. He wouldn't do something this tacky.
Well, I still don't trust him.
If it's not
don't trust a skeleton.
If it's not you, then who could possibly... And Bartholomew just seems stunned in this particular instance, as he's still kind of trying to rest with the idea that Lemek might not be responsible for Halloween. Or the
maybe it's the yellow-robed person. I mean, there's a blue robe, a red. Why not a yellow?
Look, right over here, it's... And as Lemek goes to point, you hear another voice call out, Well, it appears that you've seen through my ruse. And you just hear a clapping sound echoing through this chamber.
And Lemek
I told you there were lemons.
And as Lemek kind of is pointing in that direction, is in the middle of his sentence, and it's this, you see the fireplace behind him begin to burn brighter, and suddenly from it, tendrils of fire begin to lash out. They pull. One of them grabs onto Lemek's arm, another one his legs, his other arm. They have him restrained.
I don't like this at all.
And then you watch as it kind of drags him in. The fireplace seems to become a massive mouth that opens and closes and shuts around in a torrent of flame that lashes out. You have to look away for a brief moment, kind of blinded by the incredible light, and Lemek is swallowed up by the house.
Well, on the bright side, he's a lich, so if he
hear the
dies,
voice
he just
echo through again. Well, I had to get him. I was kind of hoping you would do it. But I guess now I'll just have to kill you, too. Bartholomew, you know me, right? You remember old friends?
And Bartholomew kind of puts his head down. Of course. Torfless Frombladuke. You hear lightning crash outside.
2 years ago at the Carnival of Souls, Lemek killed me and you didn't do anything about it.
I didn't know. I didn't know he was going to try something. I mean, he always tries something, but I didn't know he'd come after you, Torfless. I can't be responsible for this.
Well, Bartholomew, maybe you just have to learn what it's like to die. You and your stupid adventurers.
Wait, didn't that happen?
In defense of ourselves, many of us die quite regularly.
There's no defense here. You're in my realm now.
But
And you see kind of descending through the ceiling here an illusory figure. It has a large kind of flared cape that comes to almost pointed pauldrons in the shoulders, a light baby blue color, a flowing cape behind him. He's a very squat, fat dwarf, or at least would have been in life, but is now simply a ghost. And this dwarf scratches at its scraggly beard. Now, flee and be destroyed!
And Bartholomew, you see he has kind of a genuine look of fear in his eye as he begins to like kind of look behind him, and he turns and he starts to run away. What do you all do?
I'm gonna go hide.
That would be the cue to go.
All right, you all begin to kind of like chase after Bartholomew, and as you're running,
soon I finish knitting.
You're knitting in the space, and as you're knitting in the space, the room that you're currently in, the ground just kind of falls out underneath you, and you're knitting in what appears to be void as you're just spinning through darkness. Bartholomew kind of continues to run. Those that are following behind him. You, Delta, you kind of go to hide here in the chamber, and as you do so, you kind of hop behind a bookshelf, but the bookshelf itself seems to, just as the fireplace did, a great kind of mouth comes up and bites down and swallows. You're kind of like chasing Richard, and are you guys chasing behind after? Following Bartholomew?
I'm heading for a car.
All right.
Bartholomew surely knows the fastest way out.
Richard, you duck to the side and you hop into a car. The engine kind of starts up and it just kind of like turns over. And as it does, it starts immediately. And then the car begins to move and drive all on its own. It twists and it turns through the chambers, moving down corridors until it eventually crashes into a wall. And as you kind of get flung forward from the seat, you phase into it and disappear from reality. You're the only ones.
I was wearing a seatbelt.
The seatbelt unclicked itself. A devilish fiend indeed. Tarren, you're standing beside Bartholomew as we kind of are seeing things from his perspective. He looks back at you, Tarren, and he's kind of throwing things out of his way as best he can. Torfus Frombladuke was a master illusionist, perhaps a greater illusionist even than I. I'm not as powerful a wizard, of course, but we are in his illusionary domain. He's unto a god in here. And Bartholomew's just continuing to run, ducking and dodging over various kind of bookcases. You're doing your best to catch up, but the bookcases fall like dominoes around you as you still hear the distant kind of mocking laugh of this strange new wizard that has appeared. As Bartholomew exits out of the chamber, he kind of runs for the door. You see there's the hole. It's starting to like seal over where Lemic had originally disintegrated it. Bartholomew dives and jumps through and stands once more back in the lobby. And as he does so, he looks back. And Tarren is no longer there either. And with that, week 2 of the Carnival of Souls concludes. We will, I think, see you all in just a brief moment. Jeremy, if you don't mind going to pause for a second to go over the outro screen.